And welcome everyone here to week number 2 here at Zero D Gravity Gaming, our Platinum division here tonight. I am Primus alongside Dustin here. How are we doing tonight, Dustin?
Uh,
Not, I am boosted. Leave me alone. Sorry, we've got a new caster going on. I'm doing a terrible job. We're off to a great start.
completely fine. I got some big boots to fill in, but hopefully I will do just fine. Jumping in here for week 2, very excited to see two teams. 1-0 for the first week's a good start, and now unfortunately one of them is going to have to take a loss. We're going to have to see who that will be getting into things. Meme City Esports versus Crosspoint Origin here, sure to be a fantastic match.
Yes, both these teams have a lot of familiar faces to our long-term fans here at Zero D Gravity Gaming. Crosspoint Origin obviously returning a lot of their roster from the previous season. Arrow Cross, Guster Posey, Simplistic, all familiar names for those who are long-term fans of our Platinum division here. And then, of course, on Meme City Esports, you can't get our boy Rutledge up in that top lane so far as bans are coming through fairly quickly. Nothing too unexpected here, though this makes 2 weeks in a row we've seen blue side fizz bans, so that's a little bit interesting, and it is also paired with the Echo, and that is not a surprise if you follow LS tier list right there with that first pick Seraphine.
Absolutely not, but the bans to me show that these teams have been doing their due diligence. If you go ahead and take a look into the match histories, it's very easy to see that Talia and Olaf had quite pop-off performances for the players on Meme City Esports. Meanwhile, that Fizz was was piloted rather fantastically by Fanata. I'm getting used to the names. I'm new. Give me a second. For Crosspoint Origin. So both teams doing their due diligence. And it looks like we've got pretty high meta, picks coming in so far. The Seraphine flex for Meme City Esports. I don't know the players to speak if it is a flex, but traditionally it's a flex between mid, bot, and support. Where players take it, we'll have to see. Udyr Kaisa being locked in, though, is a little bit of... I don't really like those pairings. That pairing rather, but it's early on in the draft. They can definitely round it out as we go on. Jarvan early is very odd. Tell me about any of these picks. Are they standing out like player picks for you? As you know the players a little bit more than I do, at least.
Well, the Jarvan I find is odd given the fact that Zoom Typhoon, who I'm assuming this is going to be a jungle Jarvan, his most played champion this solo queue season, far and away, is the Volibear. However, his number 2 pick, I do believe, if I remember correctly. Why am I being dumb? Excuse me. It's his number 4 pick. It's his number 4 pick. Is the Jarvan jungle. So it is still a comfort pick for him. I do find it odd that he's not looking to go with the Volibear because I consider... I mean, both of them are kind of on the outside of the realm of jungle comfort levels. Mm-hmm. So they're both viable jungle options. Jarvan, I think, is more of, okay, if we want to fight, we have a very easy way to start a fight. Like, it's kind of how I see things playing out.
Yeah, I mean,
Jarvan pick coming in.
Exactly, and that pairs with the other picks that Meme City have picked them up. So Seraphine and Senna right now, they're really looking for that wombo combo already. Curious if Crosspoint will ban out an Orianna, as that's kind of like the biggest power pick I see. We did get a little bit of a problem with the draft. That is a Rel on the R3 position for Crosspoint Origin. So the bot lane, almost definitely Kaisa Rel. I've been thrown off too many times to give definites in drafts, but Kaisa Rel going to be in the bot lane for Crosspoint Origin, Udyr in the jungler. Now it's just solo laners left up. Crosspoint Origin targeting those top laners, Kled and Gnar taken off the board, which to me signals something like a Camille possibly. Maybe looking for a tank though, it's hard to tell. Mid laners banned out by Meme City. We'll have to see what Crosspoint want to... which position they want to blind pick and which position they want to save for a counter.
My guess is usual rule of thumb, especially with the given bans, we're probably going to see a blind pick top here, especially given the fact that both teams, their highest rated overall player is their mid laner, of course, with the Malphite coming in. For Meme City, the next go-to pick for their top laner is the Alawi, which we could theoretically come in here. It does kind of fit with that combo coming in, as we're seeing Silas as if this composition needed more additional engage. Now you have a Silas who can steal Malphite ultimate once every minute or so, or I can't remember how long the actual cooldown is.
It gets pretty ridiculous once you get to that level 16 power spike. But we have to keep reminding ourselves that there is a rel in the R3 position, so that ultimate a little bit new to Silas players, but another fantastic sticking tool once Silas has the Abscond Abduct. If he's able to connect that onto an enemy backline or pop the rel ultimate, can have more of the same, and it's going to be a Karma blind for Meme City, which is very, very odd for me because it's pretty off theme. Karma doesn't really have anything that she's buffing up or enchanting up, not to mention now Seraphine Karma, not sure where that flex is going to be. Possible that they could be waiting to see what Crosspoint's pick, which will be a Victor R5 to round out the composition, giving them a bit more scaling opportunity and late game damage.
Yeah, my biggest concern is seeing something like the Victor get locked in, is that there is so much long-range engage potential coming in for the side of Meme City right now, and Victor does not exactly have the most mobility as experience does dictate here. Though I do kind of want to make a side little comment here. I do find it interesting that Udyr finally becomes meta in professional play, and he gets announced as the rework champion.
It feels like Aatrox in a sense. Remember when I know. Aatrox way back when? Same thing.
That's exactly what I was going for. I just found that kind of interesting that got announced earlier today here, but I'm really interesting to see where Meme City ends up slotting all these picks. And like, if I had to wager a guess, it is Silas top, Jarvan jungle, Seraphine or Karma in the mid lane, and the other as support, and then Senna as the carry. But the other side of the coin is we could see fasting Senna again, because that is back in the
bring
meta.
It up. Yep.
Because I've played that recently myself, and I had 60 souls at Senna at like 19 minutes as fasting Senna.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of different variations of the Senna come out. We've seen, Duskblade, a Merman Senna. We've seen the recently with the change to the Q, the Kraken Slayer Rageblade, or even Kraken Slayer without the Rageblade into regular crit. And then we've seen fasting as well that can go into many different things. We've seen Moonstone Senna. There's a lot of different variations of that champion. We'll have to see where those three picks end up on Meme City. But if we take a look over at Crosspoint Origin for a second, I'm really curious what kind of their plan is for the early game, because it doesn't seem like the Udyr has a lot of places to go. The Rel is going to have a pretty tough time getting onto anybody that they send into bot lane due to the long range that Meme City has drafted. Top lane, Malphite's going to have to wait till 6 till he can really do much to the Silas. Silas should have a pretty decent time there. And then the Victor into a mage matchup, maybe you can gank that, but really this just looks like an Udyr farm fest for me, which is one of his specialties, to be fair.
There is no scenario where Jarvan should be within shouting distance of an Udyr if Udyr is pathing properly. And to explain what I mean by that is, Jarvan notoriously is a very poor farming jungler. Udyr is arguably the fastest clearing jungler right now. He even outclears champions like Olaf, which is why he has seen so much prevalence in professional play right now, is the fact if he gets even just the slightest advantages on you, he can single-handedly take the enemy jungler out of the game. And Jarvan, if he does not have farm to be the front line for this team, which he has to be, he's literally just going to be an ulti bot, and he's going to get one shot by Victor and Kai'Sa.
Absolutely. It feels like Jarvan is very, very pressured to get ahead in this matchup through ganking lanes over and over and over again. And when I look at his lanes, he's got decent setup. You've got Karma slows and Senna slows in the bot lane. You've got the Seraphine route if Frosty's able to land that one. Silas has a pretty good matchup into the Malphite. So you're really asking Crosspoint Origin, hey laners, I'm gonna outfarm the heck out of this guy, but you guys gotta play safe, you gotta play back, and if you do, then we're gonna get some early game objectives. We're gonna roll into team fights with a 1-2k gold lead, and we're just gonna smash the game. But I feel like if Crosspoint Origin are not diligent, Jarvan has a lot of places he can go. He can make a lot of proactive plays. I'm looking at Swoon Typhoon to make some moves in the early game.
Yeah, Swoon Typhoon on that Jarvan can start ganking as early as level 2, and he pretty much has free reign to gank in almost any of these lanes here. But going back to the Udyr pick, I honestly think his best lane potential to gank is most likely that mid lane, especially if he's able to wait out, and if Seraphine uses her E in an aggressive fashion, then she has no means of getting away other than a speed up. And if Udyr's already behind you, it's too late at that point.
Absolutely. Frosty's defensive vision line, and we'll have to see if Swoon Typhoon is able to help out with that. Will definitely be a big thing, because a lot of what Seraphine does in the mid lane is just push the wave. She pushes the wave, she doesn't interact, she gets, her supportive items, sometimes going towards some AP heavy ones, but with the team composition I see here, more than likely support, maybe, it's hard to say. The team composition is very odd. To me, it looks like Silas AP carry, Senna AD carry, and then you've got two supports in the Karma and Seraphine, but we'll have to see if they decide to flex into more AP with how Frosty decides to build that. But yeah, Seraphine going to be pretty under fire here in the early game if Frosty is mismanaged, or I should say it's really not about how he manages the wave, but how about first cast of the night. I've been awake for like 16 hours already. I'm running on thin air.
Well, I'm at 14, so we're both kind of in that.
We're having a good day. It's a grand Monday. Gonna play some League of Legends. Well, gonna watch some League of Legends from our perspective. We're gonna have to see if Frosty is able to stay safe in the mid lane on the side of Meme City. Got it. And on the side of Crosspoint, will Guster just be able to just farm over this entire map? That feels like the pretty big points here. Outside of that, I'm really excited to see Rel, because I feel like some Rels are very knowledgeable and can flex that knowledge over players who don't know what the champion does yet. And then there are Rel players that doesn't know what the champion does yet.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's, if you know what you're doing on the champion, you can be incredibly successful. If you really don't know what you're doing, you can look pretty bad pretty quick here. And as we are winding down the spectator delay, there is one final point I do want to bring across. If there is one thing I am concerned about for the side of Meme City Esports, their backline has no mobility, and there's a Malphite on the enemy team. Completely if their backline dies, it don't matter how much shielding and healing and all that stuff you got if they get one comboed by the Victor Malphite combination.
Absolutely. I wouldn't even mind Aerocross going for a little bit of AP, maybe taking the Comet in this matchup. It's not the worst matchup in the world to go for the Comet. Gives you a little bit more trading potential, although the Silas does heal up quite a bit with the Kingslayer and with the usual corrupting potion start we see. But yeah, it'll be very, very hard. They are a massively long-range backline, but there is a lot of snap engage on the side of Crosspoint. Definitely agree.
Yeah, as we are getting on to the Rift here, I do kind of want to ask you your question here as we see the compositions coming to the table, looking at the various keystones here. Which team do you favor going into this game number 1 here?
Oh, this is... I mean, if you want to talk just pure compositionally, I am a bigger fan of MCEs, but it's one of those things where I don't know the players well enough. If all the laners are even across everything, I can see it very easily going to Crosspoint, just because their jungler is going to be able to farm so much faster than Swoon Typhoon. Swoon Typhoon is going to have to impress me with his early game ganks, going to have to impress me with his early game pathing, because I think he's the key to an early game success for Meme City. If not, they still have a lot of scaling with the Senna Seraphine. It feels like early and very hyper late game is in Meme City's favor. It feels like that mid game chunk, 2-3 item marks, that's really where Crosspoint's composition shines.
Yeah, on that, I do have to agree. I do need to bring up the point here that Guster Posey, a good friend of mine, is actually not going the typical Udyr keystone that we see in professional play. He is picking up that press the attack here, which means we might not see that pure farm style. We could see the ever cheesy Trick 2G personal favorite Tiger Deer special come out, which is basically, I find Jarvan in his jungle, Jarvan dies.
That's an interesting way to play the matchup. I'm not sure if I agree with it this game, just because Udyr's lanes are not going to have push priority. Senna Karma being a double range bot lane should have push priority down there. Seraphine will naturally have push priority, and Fanata's not really going to be able to contest that until he gets his E upgrade. Top lane, Rutledge could definitely lose push to Arrow Cross, but it's a matchup dependent thing, and Rutledge did not go for the Corrupting Potion start, so we'll have to see how he decides to play lane phases. We see a little bit of an invade, just getting some information down onto the blue buff. Wanting to know where Guster starts is, like I said, those lanes are going to be pushed, so they need to be tracking this Udyr. That way they can be very, very careful about where they start. Bot lane kind of hanging around up here. Have to imagine Jarvan's going to come down and start on the red buff.
Yeah, looks like jungles are going to mirror bot side starts here. So the biggest thing is I'm going to be keeping my eye on is what pathing Swoon Typhoon on this Jarvan is going to look for going around here. But let us do a quick introduction here. We've touched on some of the names here so far. But let us give you a formal introduction to everyone here in this game here tonight between Meme City Esports and, of course, Crosspoint Origin. Here on the blue side, we have Meme City Esports with long-standing member here at Zero Gravity Gaming, Rutledge up on the top lane on Silas, Swoon Typhoon in the jungle on the Jarvan, TSM Frosty on the Seraphine mid lane, then Swoon Baboon and Aindrill down in the bottom lane playing Senna and Karma.
And for Crosspoint on the red side, it's going to be Arrow Cross up in the top lane. Guster Posey playing jungle. Fanata in the mid lane. Ferdy will be the bot lane marksman this game, and Simplistic will be on that support rel that I am oh so excited to see how they're able to play. Right now, taking a lot of harass, as we should expect, coming out of the double range bot lane. Thing to note, Arrow Cross did go for the Arcane Comet start, so we'll be trading pretty effectively with Rutledge up here. Once he can get those down, you can see he's burned through all his Corrupting Potions, but he's staying fairly even. All the potions on Rutledge gone as well. Looks like bot lane's going to be pretty... Ooh, that was really close to landing. That might have been a solo kill up in the top lane.
Yeah, but Jarvan is hovering on the Jarvan, but Udyr is here. He can't actually win this fight because the thing about Jarvan is Jarvan's burst is far better than Udyr's. Jarvan was able to get the drop on that fight, and if Jarvan gets the drop on Udyr, he can do fairly well in the matchup. Udyr was sitting at about 40% HP, as was the Jarvan, but Udyr's a long fight, not short fight, so bot lane's just not going to be a fun time. We're spending a lot of time down here just with the amount of poke we're constantly going to be seeing coming out of Swoon Baboon and Aindrill on the Senna Karma. But so far, the Udyr is up a full camp right now. That could be a dead rel. Nope, gonna fall down to about 100 HP after that ignite come through. Arrow already down to very low mana. That's kind of the downside of playing this Malphite is you eat your mana alive here. It does get that biscuit, giving him a little bit of extra HP here. But to be honest, I always am annoyed whenever I see Malphite's Q minions in the early game, because as Malphite, literally all you want to do is get your mana full land stacked as quickly as possible. So you shouldn't be using your Q outside of that, in my opinion.
Yeah, Arrowcross gonna have to take an early base, probably going to expend the teleport so he doesn't lose too many minions to this tower here. And Swoon Typhoon, while he was not able to get any ganks per se, did burn Guster's flash, but he's got to be really happy in the Jarvan versus Udyr matchup. The fact that he was able to double Scuttle Crab right now feels pretty good, but you can see the power of this Udyr, even though the fact that Jarvan hasn't based yet and took double Scuttle Crab. Udyr is still going to be 2 camps up around the time Jarvan finishes this Krugs, and he's still going to have his Krugs to take. So it's a very, very rough matchup. We're going to have to see Swoon Typhoon continue to do good things as Fanata. Not going to get too much more out of there because he does not have much more mana. Looks like these solo laners going to need to take a big base just like their top laners did. Rutledge, fantastic opportunity for him to take a base, did not have to expend teleport. We'll have to see if that comes in to help his team. Teleport advantage can be a very dangerous thing. Crosspoint have to be aware of the fact that they're at a disadvantage in that.
Yeah, Guster's trying to see this out. Level 6 should be coming shortly for Arrowcross. If it's not this wave, it is most certainly the next wave, and they had a potential window there, but they chose not to fully follow through on it, with Guster taking the reset pathing down to his bottom side. We have a wave crashing down the bottom side of the map. And I do want to say that despite the amount of poke and pressure Ferdy has been under down in the bottom side of the map, he's actually been able to maintain relatively close in CS.
Oh, absolutely, he's not doing too bad whatsoever. So we see level
that's
6
the dead arrow. Oh, that was honestly one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
That is
the
such a fantastic interaction.
The synergized Malphite ultimate, as we do have it engaged. We do still have Arrow dying to the long range Q coming in from the Silas. Guster trying to get into range onto Adro and Swoon Baboom. They are going to get the stun down on Adro. Is going to force the flash and the heal. Oh, that Seraphine and a Wombo combo. 3-man party here with that CC coming across the table, and that is 2 kills to 0 going over at the end of the day to Meme City Esports. However, the Dragon at the end of the day did go over to the side of Crosspoint Origins, but almost a 2K gold lead here at the 7-minute mark for Meme City Esports is not anything to shake a stick at.
Absolutely not, but we're going to have to bait our breath here as we still have more going on.
Is going to get engaged on. Is going to eat so much burst damage. Last laser going to come in from Fanata on the backside. Is going to secure that kill, getting a victor kill in the early game. Pretty nice here, but this top lane's not going to be very pleasant here for Arrowcross. Going into that Bramble Vest early, which means he is not going to have any magic resist to deal with the damage coming in. He's going to cut the healing a little bit, but I'm never a fan of seeing early Bramble in the Silas because I feel like just getting the magic resist is far more effective.
So I understand kind of what he's doing, but in this game I would have to disagree with him because
we do have a flash engage in the bot lane. Nice use of that E-stun coming of the attract and repel coming in from Simplistic, able to get another kill back on the table for the side. Oh, but they're going to get another knockup coming in from Simplistic. I don't know if they're going to be able to get enough burst damage down before Swoon Baboom gets back under the tower. Rutledge going in once again, just having his way with Arrow up in this top lane. Arrow's still doing decent in CS, so he's not going to be anything to slouch on that Malphite here. Guster Posey having that level advantage. You saw Swoon Typhoon hovering like he wanted to do something there, but not going to be able to do anything happen. Guster just coming in, helping and getting that wave crash here. Already an 18 CS advantage for Guster Posey on this Udyr here. Don't think the engage is going to happen. Nice little sidestep, but we do have the TP flank coming in from Seraphine. The flash stun into the attract repel is going to be quite massive, but there's no follow-up. That is a 4-man ultimate coming in from Simplistic, but it just doesn't matter. There is no damage there with Ferdy having to run away. Very nice use of that teleport flank coming in from Frosty on that Seraphine.
Yeah, Fanata didn't want to teleport down there. He had pretty low mana, and I don't know Victor well enough to say how much of a combo he had, but decided it was not for the best. And they're gonna take a little bit back there. Meme City looking fairly good in the early game, especially Frosty, 3 out of 4 KP, feeling really good on the Seraphine mid. He's going for either Moonstone or Imperial
It's
Mandate.
Moonstone.
Yeah. I like to have the what's the illusion of choice, but more than likely going for the Moonstone, like we said. And to try to hit a point with that we were about to talk before all those bot lane skirmishes came out, I feel like the Bramble is sort of the idea into this traditional Silas top that we see, where you take the Corrupting Potion and you max the heal, the W. But that is not what Rutledge is doing. That damage that came out of the Q when Arrow got killed underneath tower,
Yeah,
I knew
Q-max.
immediately. It is full AP Doran's Ring Q max on the.
Oh,
my
Fanata
goodness,
trying to get in range to get the last little bit of damage is not going to be able to do so. Rutledge doing so much AoE damage, surviving for so very long. Both Rutledge and Zoom Typhoon are combined 400 HP. They're considering it. They do have the ability to steal an ultimate from Arrow. I still believe they do have that option available, and that is quite a big threat to keep in mind here as Rutledge continues to extend his advantage up in that top lane. I do want to take a quick note that we did see Ferdy pick up the tier, and I can't remember the last time I saw Kaisa go tier.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting pickup there. If I had to give any sort of idea, it's the fact that this Kaisa is having a really hard time dealing with the wave push that Karma Senna is able to provide. Mostly the Karma, believe it or not. The Senna Q's through the wave, but Senna is a very slow wave clear, and Kaisa probably wants to push the wave, allow the Rel to move out to
they
other
do
lanes.
have Tifu coming in now with Fanata. They don't have any great CC. We are going to have a great use of that gravity field. They're trying to get in range onto Anadro. They are going to get the stun with the Gust of Trash. Flash out coming in from Anadro is going to keep him alive. There is a Senna ultimate available. Is going to be enough to get the snipe coming in. We do have some Typhoon coming in with the flag and drag coming in. Simplistic trying to buy enough time with that magnetism to get the disengage off the rest of the team. TSM Frosty is going to miss the charm on the back side as Meme City doing so much work with this very high pressure composition in the early game.
Absolutely. Oh, and it's not done.
Is going to get engaged on, but this gravity field is going to do enough to allow him to get the disengage. But this is going to mean that second dragon is going to go over to the side of Meme City, currently sitting at a 3,000 gold advantage here at the 12.5-minute mark.
Yeah, but my goodness,
Fanata is very low, is going to immediately fall to Baboon. We tried to get in range with Guster Posty to try to get the seal, was not able to do so. Cataclysm is going to come in. Simplistic trying to be the front line of buy time. Nice flash ultimate coming in from Arrow Cross, but the Rutledge comes in with the stolen ultimate. Is far more effective as it's going to essentially be it is a ace at the Drake Pit. And part of me wonders whether or not Crosspoint should have even attempted that play.
Oh my goodness, 5-0. That was so unfortunate for Crosspoint. They wanted to pull that out. I'm not really sure what they were thinking. They were down so many different tools. They didn't have the ultimates in their favor. They didn't have the summoners in their favor. They didn't have the positioning in their favor. But I feel like Crosspoint just feel like the game is slipping away from them and they're starting to get desperate. One items are gonna come in fairly shortly here. You can see Moonstone, the cheap support item on the mid lane, are already completed, but both bot laners will have their upgraded mythics when they return to base, and you can see Leandri's purchase. So I mean, MC were definitely in favorable positions, and now that's just been accelerated. I wonder if Crosspoint has just thrown away any sort of type of comeback, because now that gold lead has ballooned so much.
Yeah, it is up over 6,000 gold here, essentially, and to be honest, like Victor Kaisa, they aren't one item spike champions.
Yep.
They are two item spike champions. That's when they really start to come online. And especially when you're going into a champion like Sarah, going for that Moonstone spike so early in terms of items. Karma didn't quite have her Moonstone completed for that fight, I do believe, but you just have so much less combat power. Guster trying to do what he can on this Udyr is going to get ahead. We are going to have a miss with the engage coming in from Simplistic. Swoon Baboon is going to turn around a fair bit of damage. Flash being forced out of Simplistic, otherwise he would have 100% died there.
Dawning Shadow missed at the tail end.
Oh, that is a dead Malphite. Q.
It missed.
Just a little bit off on that angle. It's not going to be enough. He's got a potion chugging here, but Rutledge just complete and utter control up in this top side of the map, as is the rest of the map right now for the side of Meme City Esports. They already took the bot lane tower. They're going to break all 3 towers here by the 15-minute mark. Guster Posey trying to fight.
Just 3 levels down.
He's 3 levels down.
Oh, that
does not have any healing reduction. Flash forward. I mean, I guess he saved the tower for a little bit.
I don't know what. I wasn't quite 100% sure what happened. I think it was like the last tick of an Udyr, like the stolen Udyr ult that ended up killing Guster, and it just looked very comical to me. Very close fight up in the top lane. Rutledge is so far ahead though, 3-level lead. I mean, a combat mythic to a engaged tank mythic is always going to be in the favor of this Silas right now.
He didn't even have his mythic completed. He didn't. Completed it.
It is very, very rough. But as we see these first couple mythics come out for Crosspoint, as much as we didn't like the Bramble Vest as a first buy, healing reduction has become all the rave for Crosspoint right now, with the Senna, Seraphine, Karma, and Silas all boasting large amounts of healing. We're gonna need to see some Morellos, some Oblivion Orbs at the very least, an Avarice Blade or 2 come out very, very quickly if Crosspoint wants to stem this bleeding. Oh, what did I say?
Avarice Blade is not an item anymore.
Oh, rip Avarice Blade.
I mean, I remember when it was an item, but unfortunately it is not an item anymore. But right now, at this stage of the game, if you're Crosspoint, you are hitting all the pause and stall out buttons. There is nothing more sad to me as a support / tank top player than watching a engaged tank having to ult to run away.
Yeah, that's definitely it feels bad, man, though. At the very least, I don't believe Crosspoint will be contesting anything for the foreseeable future. It's going to be a while till Meme City, have that Dragon Soul on lockdown. It's going to take quite a bit before that's available. They really just kind of have to worry about Baron here in 2.5 minutes. But that's a really scary Baron because they can 2-man it with just about any 2-man squad that you can think of.
They don't have great Baron DPS though.
No, they do it slowly, but they do it very, very efficiently in the fact that they're not going to take a lot of damage from it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty much a sneak Baron there, as Dragon does go down for Meme City, second of the game. Swoon Baboon gonna get a massive chunk there onto Fanata. It is going to go ahead and be the Rageblade plus Kraken Slayer build, which is my personal favorite. Feels the nicest when I get the odd chance to play the game, well, every once in a while I get to actually play instead of watch, but I mean, why play when you can watch people who are better than you, right?
True here. They are going to stop the Rift Arrow from taking the tower, and that was a interesting Victor ultimate, but I mean, it pushed them off, made sure they kept that bot lane tier 2 available. Guster Posey on the side here. You're not really going to do anything here, Guster Posey, as we do have the flag and drag coming in. Is going to miss with the flash coming in from Fanata. Root's not going to come in on to Arrowcross, and this Silas is way behind enemy lines, and honestly, I don't think it honestly matters.
I was gonna say he can be there if he really wants to. His team is not too far away, and you can see the entirety of Crosspoint Origin just breaching, spreading the gates and just going around him because they do not want to go into that massively fed Silas that's currently holding onto the Malphite ultimate. Tier 2 towers are starting to fall before Baron's even a possibility. Malphite ult was going to time out there, so Rutledge just going to grab a couple farm with it here, and the game is really, really bleeding heavily from Crosspoint's perspective. They need to do something to stop this. Something that they do have right now is the Rel combination with both Malphite and Kaisa acting as delivery. We'll have to see if they're able to get a side.
Mythic yet.
Yeah. No, they're gonna have to do a pretty quick side lane pick with multiple members, but they need to do something to get some gold back into their pockets. Right now, the gold lead just continues to balloon up, currently sitting at an amount that is really hard to count. 8,000? Yeah, 8,000. So it's getting very, very rough.
That is a dead Victor.
Oh,
nothing to see here, ladies and gentlemen. I do want to mention, for those who are wondering at home, we are over at 60 stacks on the Senna here. But with Victor already dead, Victor's a majority of the damage at this stage of the game as Kaisa finally completes her mythic. Here comes Rutledge. Is going to come in. Does not have an ultimate available. We are going to have a very nice Seraphine ultimate, followed up by a great Malphite ultimate coming in from Aerocross. But as I said, there's literally no damage left on the map to follow up on that engage here. We do have a attempted flash forward coming in for Gus Rosie. You are a full take.
Oh no!
Damage, my good sir. As that should be a bot lane inhibitor falling here for the side of Meme City Esports at the 21-minute mark, and this is just demolition coming in from Meme City.
Oh, Meme City are just punishing every move that Crosspoint make. They cannot step a centimeter too far, or else this long-range composition is just going to run you down. They have so much movement speed with these, the Staff of Water flowing, the Karma E, the Seraphine W. So even the Senna E, they actually have an extremely fast composition if they're all able to group up like they have been, and now they balloon that already up to an 11,000 gold lead. Baron is on the table, and this game looks nigh impossible from Crosspoint. I might even consider it. Oh my goodness, Malphite doesn't have an item yet. Oh, it's a very rough time to be a top laner.
Yeah, he's what I call the tool shed. He's got the tool shed inventory going on right now.
Yep. He's getting around to building an item, He's getting a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, just he's sampling. He's sampling right now as we are crossing the 22-minute mark here. It is 2-1 in Drake's. 1,000 gold advantage is the advantage for Meme City. 16-2 in kills. They can pretty much do Baron whenever they like. Dragon Soul still 8+ minutes away. Excuse me, 5+ minutes away with Drake spawning relatively soon. So there's really no point for the game to last till Dragon Soul, in my opinion. I just think you just start Baron, force them to come fight you, and if they come fight you, the game's pretty much over here. As there is that.
Oh my goodness!
They don't even have a Sivir on their team, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't think Swoon Typhoon knew what happened. He just ran in there. It looked like he lost control of his character with the amount of movement speed steroids that were just dumped on him. But nonetheless, they will go ahead.
Rammus cosplay, only he didn't realize he was Rammus cosplaying.
Fantastic. They got a couple wards down and they said, that's enough. We don't need any more. Rutledge and Adriel gonna run a little bit of interference here.
Steel's not gonna be happening.
He's just going for the 80 carry.
A dead 80 carry. That's a dead top laner. That's gonna be a dead support here in just a moment. Guster's just taking the dragon just as a constellation prize. Fanata trying to get in range to potentially get the with the E, but it's just not gonna matter. Cloud Drake falls. Baron taken for Meme City, and this game's going to be over here in approximately 90 seconds.
Yeah, if even that, as we see the teleport into the bot lane, gonna go ahead and Baron up all those minions. Meme City is not messing around. They're gonna walk straight down mid, hammer both of these towers down. That would be a commanding game one for Meme City over Crosspoint Origin, and we're gonna have to see what they can do to fight back, because that didn't even look close.
Yeah, there were a lot of very interesting decisions coming in from the side of Crosspoint that kind of accentuated the compositional difference between the two comps, because nothing within the composition that Crosspoint drafted has any semblance of long range. Victor's a mid-range mage, Kais is a short-range AD carry, and then you have 3 melee champions.
I think it even goes simpler than that, and the fact that they didn't have a single lane with push priority, and then they have just a jungler that's trying to power farm, but his waves are constant, or his laners are constantly needing attention because they're at their own towers. So just felt like they were picking champions that were strong individually, but maybe not having all the synergies match up quite right, as they definitely weren't able to find it in that game one. Rutledge with a massive performance topping the damage charts there. 16,000. I mean, that's not even that much damage for a 24-minute game, but it's so much more than anyone else did. Just because it was such a low-kill game, Crosspoint couldn't find a foot in the door.
Well, it was a very explosive game. When stuff happened, it happened quick. There weren't very many extended fights, and when you're beating up a tank the entire laning phase, with Leandries, obviously your damage numbers are going to go up here, but overall, I think there's a lot Crosspoint can do to approach differently to make it a more competitive game number 2, especially with a new shot coming in at draft. However, we are going to see what they are going to be changing up for game number 2 here in just a few minutes, as we take a short break here, give our teams time to reset here. Please stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back in just a few minutes where we see whether or not Mean City Esports goes to 2-0 in terms of match score, 4-0 on game score, or whether or not we get to see an all-important game number 3 between Crosspoint and Mean City Esports. Stay tuned. And welcome back, everyone, here to game number 2 here between Crosspoint Origin and Meme City Esports Rush here. I am Primus alongside Django. I get it right this time. I felt bad the first time, but I had to give him a redux here. We already saw Meme City Esports having a dominant game number 1 here, but we're heading into game number 2 here. What are some adaptations you would like to see coming in from Crosspoint Origin to try to push this to a game number 3?
Well, so far I agree with them. I don't think it was their bans that were flawed. Looks like they're still going to target the Olaf and Talia from week 1 games, and the Renekton will follow. So Crosspoint not going to switch up anything with their bans, which I don't think is a bad thing. Now they just need to get picks that they're still comfortable on, but they need a little bit more synergy, maybe a little bit more early game proactivity, because they look like they wanted to fight a lot in the early game. They just didn't have the tools to. Meme City gonna swap it up a little bit, ban the Seraphine, which means the Fizz that they banned game 1 is up and available, but it will just be a hard pivot into the Kindred first pick. Now, the Kindred is not a bad champion, but this is just not something we see first pick very often. There's a lot of meta things that could come in to disrupt this, like, for instance, Gragas is one that comes to mind immediately. We'll have to see if Meme City are able to punish this very early jungle pick, but Crosspoint seem to be very, very focused on what they want going in the game, too.
Yeah, we're going to see Hecarim, another one of the go-to picks for Zoom Typhoon in the jungle. It's one of his comfort champions coming in there in the Kindred pick. I feel it's like you had nothing else you wanted to first pick, so you just picked comfort jungle. Senna's going to come through once again. I see no reason for Meme City to pivot from that. What I would really love to see coming in from Crosspoint Origin was something that was picked in the LPL this morning. Lethality Varus was picked this morning. And I think it is a great response into Senna because you can match her range and really force her to fight for every CS here, as we are going to see the Sylas come in for Crosspoint. Taking that away, probably going to go towards Fanata in the mid lane, as I don't think that is really an Arrow-style champion. And I'd really like to see them pick up something like the Varus or Xayah or even a Misfortune here. But it's going to be a Lucian. So this is either a bot lane Lucian or Sylas is going top lane to Arrow.
Well, it does seem to be the options here. I gotta say, I don't. If it's kind of a thing where Arrow's not comfortable playing, champions out of a certain, archetype, the Sylas pick, if it's guaranteed or likely going mid, I really don't like it here because Meme City are on red side, which means they get R3 to counterpick your mid laner, and then they get R5 to counterpick your top laner, and now you've really put yourself at a draft disadvantage by not really answering what you had. It's a bit of a sticky situation that Crosspoint find themselves in. When they went ahead and first picked their jungler, they almost had to go with a bot lane entirely there from the rotation. Swain is going to be the lock-in from Meme City. Not 100% sure where that one's going, but so far... I'm sorry, go ahead. I didn't quite catch you.
It's most likely support. We rarely see Swain, at least from a competitive standpoint, in the lanes that aren't support.
True.
It's still possible. Don't get me wrong. But it's like 95% most likely support.
Absolutely. Meme City gonna go ahead and ban out the Malphite, which means they probably agree with you that Sylas is going to go ahead and be in the mid lane, and Thresh will be the ban out, so we're not going to see all 3 parts of that little Shadow Isle, lore trilogy, woo. But that will not be allowed because Meme City doesn't like fun, so they went ahead and banned Thresh. There is okay. There was a little bit of an oopsie with the creation of the lobby. Viega was not enabled. That is going to be the R4 pick, so Meme City gonna lock that one in. Blind is a little bit interesting as we don't see a top laner, which means they're saving their mid lane for last pick when we're assuming Sylas is going there, but maybe they're considering Sylas is still a flex. Very odd draft.
Okay, so that means it's Lucian bot lane.
Yep.
For 30, with the Wukong coming in, which is most likely top lane. And I would love to see something with either hard engage or long range poke coming in from the support, and Blitzcrank does provide that.
That's interesting. I don't think there's a lot of great targets currently with Viego, Swain, and Hecarim being the picks that you see now. Obviously, the Senna is something you would love to go ahead and grab, but the rest of those champs aren't the greatest picks here. And with the idea of a mid laner being slotted in, you could still get something that makes that Blitzcrank's life really hard. We'll have to see what Meme City want to do, or if they're just going to go for they're actually going to go for a lane matchup rather than going for a counter for the overall composition as the Syndra lock-in happens. And this is a lot of early skirmish power for Meme City. I'm worried we're going to have more of the same. Crosspoint definitely have more skirmish than last time, but I feel like it revolves really heavily around this Blitzcrank. Oh, did I go dark or did you go dark? Somebody went dark here.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, okay. We're just...
So, like, I feel like this game is going to 100% come down to whether or not Simplistic can hook the Senna or hook the Syndra. If neither of those two things happen, I don't think Crosspoint really have a chance because Arrow just got hard smashed in game number 1, albeit Silas is a terrible matchup for Malphite. So part of that is the matchup. But on the other side of the coin, like, Silas can't really pressure Syndra very much, and Syndra is one of the worst ultimates in the game for Silas to steal.
Yeah, it's not fantastic because he only gets the 3 balls there. The rest of the ultimates aren't horrible. Swain, Senna particularly are fairly good. Silas stealing Viego ultimate will be very interesting. I wonder if he gets the resets. I really hope it gets the resets.
Well, he does for Pike ultimate, so theoretically,
this could be
possible.
Fun. That could be a wonderfully fun interaction.
On it right now here so far, but honestly, looking at what's coming in on the table right now, I don't see a reason not to favor Meme City Esports once again coming out of drafts because they have so much more range once again. You have a very short range composition once again, and that has been one of the biggest themes of professional play this season is that range has been king for a majority of the leagues right now.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I think they have a lot more potential to skirmish, which is kind of what they wanted to do game 1, but they just weren't able to pull off. As well as I don't know Viego matchups well enough to tell you if Wukong is a actual counter into it or not. He obviously picked the Wukong into the Viego. I have to imagine, just thinking about how trading patterns work out, that Wukong is a fairly decent lane matchup into Viego, but it kind of comes into that rel category, whereas how well does Rutledge know Viego versus how well does Arrow know Viego? Sometimes that knowledge difference is just going to be the matter of how the lane goes rather than actually how Wukong into Viego goes.
Yeah,
Swain just got locked in at the bot position. They might be screwing with us, but maybe.
It can be Senna support, right? Like, honestly, we knew Swain and Senna were going bot lane. The position is interchangeable between the two, right?
I don't know. I think I prefer Senna AD here, but we'll have to see. I guess VA. It's not horrible either way. I think I prefer Senna AD here because Syndra really hates magic resist. Syndra does not like magic resist, and when the enemies are now more incentivized to build magic resist because Swain is getting more gold, that makes Syndra's job a little bit harder. But that's pretty much splitting hairs as far as that goes. So we'll have to see. If it's as far as a comfort thing, that pretty much overrules all because you got to be able to play the champions, pretty well before you can get into the nitty gritty of the slightest amount of damage composition and physical versus magic and all that fun stuff. But getting into game, I'm expecting pretty much the same level of scrappiness we got from game one. I'm just hoping it's a little bit less one-sided because Meme City ran away with the game as soon as they got a lead.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on see how things play out right now because a lot of different things can happen in this game in and of itself. Because yes, skirmishes can happen all across the board, and you definitely will favor Meme City Esports in a lot of those early skirmishes because they have a lot of reliable early game CC and damage coming in because Swain's got a lot of early damage, Senna's got a lot of early damage, and of course Sidra needs no explanation on terms of early game damage. While really all that you see coming into the table for the side of Crosspoint is Ferdy and Sin on the Lucian Blitzcrank in terms of very heavy early game skirmish power.
Yeah, I worry mostly when I look at Meme City's draft, or excuse me, not about Meme Cities, but mostly when I look at Crosspoint's draft, that they have the same fundamental problem they had game one, where they're not going to have lane push in a lot of these lanes. Syndra's going to push in the Silas early. Swain Senna is going to push in the Lucian Blitzcrank, and that's all assuming that the lanes go to place. Simplistic could hit a hook, Silas could hit an abscond abduct. Those are things that should not happen, but if they happen, they change how the lane goes. I'm not going to speak on top lane until I know more about Viego, unfortunately. He's been out very, very, very little. He's not hit competitive play yet, and anytime I play the game, people ban him because they don't want that first-timer ruining their ranked game. So I've unfortunately not seen a ton of him. I've done a decent amount of 1v1s with him. He seems strong. He seems very sustainy. So if I were to guess, he will have lane shove because his Q is going to pierce wave and he's going to be spamming his Q because he's just going to be regenerating any life that he's going to take from the minions in the early levels. So that is my guess. But that puts Meme City at 3 out of 3 pushing lanes, which just allows Swoon Typhoon to do what he did last game and kind of get away with a little bit worse jungle pathing than Guster had in game one. And of course, with the current jungle matchup, we have to see how the first scuttle flip happens and hope Guster gets the correct mark for the side of Crosspoint Origin.
Yeah, and one of the things we will always need to keep an eye on whenever there is a Kindred game is how long or if Kindred is able to get to 4 marks.
Yep.
And to quote a far superior player and caster, Kobe, is the gold standard for a Kindred player is you want to have those 4 marks by the 18-minute mark. Because otherwise it makes it incredibly difficult for you to actually effectively team fight as Kindred.
Yep. All agreeable things. I think Crosspoint, though, are just going to have to rely on skirmishing. They don't have the pushing lanes for Kindred to be able to invade and get the mark safely. So Guster's hoping for a scuttle flip to go in his favor. First 3:15 mark when they go ahead and spawn, and then past that, pretty much going to be marking lanes, going for those early skirmishes, and seeing how that all plays out as we get into a game here. Nothing too crazy. Electrocute on the Silas, so going more for the trading. Electrocute and Ignite, actually. So Fanata saying that he can pretty much take this lane in a 1v1 or planning to have a lot of jungle attention here because this is not a traditionally winning lane for the Silas. The Syndra has a lot of ways to disrupt what the Silas tries to do in the lane.
Yes, but on the other side of the coin, it is relatively difficult for the Syndra to push the Silas out of lane.
Yeah, the sustain is very, very high.
Because of the sustain, the amount of early game damage as Simplistic has moved up to the top side. They're trying to get a cheeky pick onto Swoon Typhoon. I think they're trying to, because he's not in hook range, he has to approach this bush a little bit farther unless Simplistic wants to commit to a flash hook.
Well, Swoon Typhoon might be looking for a ward into recall, but it looks like he's maybe just going to do the safe one, ward over the wall. Yep, okay, so he's going to play it very, very safe, not go out on a limb, walking into the river. That was extremely intelligent coming out there. Do have the Ghost and the Phase Rush now, and I gotta say, I don't agree with Ghost this game. I've been seeing Heckrums and Olafs switching between Ghost and Flash, and from what I can tell, high elo players will take Flash if the enemy team has a lot of terrain scaling, so they can hop over walls a lot. When you look at Kindred, Silas, Lucian, the Hecarim pretty much has the ultimate to get over a wall, and that is it. So he will not have a Flash, and we'll have to see if that hinders him at all getting any of these kills.
Yeah, we'll just kind of have to wait and see on how things play out here. But one of the things you do need to keep in mind about this Wukong, like we've been kind of poo-pooing this top lane matchup a little bit just because of how Rutledge handled game number 1. Wukong has incredibly powerful early trade potential. So Hook is going to land on the April, but unfortunately, Ferdy did not have cooldowns available to really get a super effective trade, but does still get a fair bit of damage across here. But one of the things I really don't like to see Blitzcrank players do is if you're going to hook at Blitzcrank, you should do it. Oh, nope, he is able to get the hook back up. Dash forward into the burst damage. It would be enough with the Ignite. First blood going over to Simplistic.
And Andrew, I didn't get the chance to speak on it here, but Andrew made a really critical mistake. Ooh, top lane, okay, not gonna result in too much as they're getting pretty low here. This does favor Viego, but Andrew made a really critical mistake where he stuck around Flash forcing the bot lane. That's really unfortunate. The bot lane for Meme City is not having a fun time. Neither is Fanata in this mid lane, though. Get my point out really quickly. Senna stayed around. I can't get my point out. Senna stayed around on the first buff to get the additional ghost, and it meant she missed the experience from the first 3 minions. As Frosty's getting heavily traded on, but QE will push him out to safety. Frosty's been doing quite well in this lane, denying CS already away from Fanata. Good dodge.
Yeah, that was a very nice use of a just being like, I'm not moving. I am not going to dodge this. I'm going to stay in one spot, and you have to hit it. So it's kind of one of the mind games that you want to see coming in from people playing into Blitz. And as a support main myself and a Blitz player, I'm kind of frustrated that Simplistic did not pick up, as we are seeing Ghost coming in the mid lane. Fanata is going to get pushed back. Nice flash of the week. Does not have Flash. Did use that in an earlier trade, as I'm fairly certain, as Hecarim is going to go down. Collect the Scuttle Crab. Should it be easy coming in here? Do you want to check to see whether or not Kindred...
The bottom scuttle was marked. Yep.
Did not get her mark, unfortunately, so not going to put her in the happiest of places, but she's still farming away, not in the worst of spots right now. So we're just gonna see things farming out. But what? Okay, he did take biscuits, but he just is burning his mana relatively quickly here as wave finally crashes into the bot side. I'd really like to see Ferdy and Simplistic go for a freeze here, but nope. You're going to look too hard. Shove. I think they could have 100% looked for a freeze and looked to deny some CS from the Swain, because Swain. You really only AoE minions from range, so setting up that freeze means he actually just helps you with the freeze, but you're gonna look to elect to shove it out here. So far, lane's pretty even, other than CS in the mid lane here, as TSM Frosty is double the CS of Fanata in the mid lane, partially due to, I think, getting that kill in lane here as Arrow. Oh, that is a max range Blitzkrieg. That is a dead Swain.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate, as the cool wave crashes means that Swoon Baboon's gonna miss all that golden experience. And now with the jungler bot side, they might go ahead and transition this into a very early dragon. Looks like they're a little bit wary with the scuttle, but jungler's being sighted top. I don't think Swoon Typhoon can do much here.
Yeah, without the ultimate, there's no way a kill happens there, so...
Oh no, Frosty.
Another hook. Frosty is going to die. Fanata picking up this kill as this Blitzcrank is doing a lot of work in this early game for the side of Crosspoint Origin.
Yeah, and it was Simplistic on the Rel last game that was pretty much the shining light in the early game skirmishes. Wasn't able to completely transition those skirmishes into wins last time, but now showing up on the Blitzcrank, and we said, they're gonna have to win the skirmishes, they're gonna have to get creative. Simplistic is finding a lot of angles, just baiting in Frosty there. Frosty just, I don't know what he was really doing, knew they were on the dragon more than likely, but just didn't think they were in that particular bush waiting for him. Got punished for it, very unfortunately. Rutledge not gonna get caught out by the Abscond Abduct. Fanata tried to get a little bit of a roam on down there. Went for the Dark Seal, did get 2 stacks on that. He's feeling pretty happy about that, but he's still not too fantastic in the lane as he's down about 25 CS or so. Simplistic looking for another hook. Won't find it.
Yeah.
There's such an XP lead, man. It's so rough.
Yeah, I think that hook was rather optimistic because Ferdy was in no position to actually effectively follow it up. So as a Blitz player, I would have just held the hook. As we are going to see an engage here with the ultimate coming in.
I think Diego wins this.
Not going to be able to get into range. Cooldowns, does get the level up. Is he going to get... nice flash away from the ultimate as we are going to have an engage onto Simplistic. He's going to flash out, but he is going to get feared up by the ultimate. He's going to be able to get the Aftershock. He's going to live for slightly longer, but not going to be long enough in order to keep him out on the map as the auto attack is going to come into Adidro to secure the kill down in the bottom lane.
Oh, that is a really good breath of relief they needed. Unfortunately, it went on Indro, but honestly, early kills on the sun are not going to be too bad.
Oh, it's going to land onto Frosty. We do have Guster posted here on the created flash forward. It's going to get the slow from the E into the Stolen Cinder ultimate. Sometimes you don't need all that much damage, and it was just enough for Fanata to get a kill in this lane, and that is certainly going to go a long way to getting him back into this lane because he has been struggling, as we said, in terms of this 1v1.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Frosty's completely comfortable with this matchup because the Cinder E does push out of the Abscond Abduct if you do it correctly. It's a little bit hard on the timing there, so Rutledge misses out on the stun. He's going to sustain through this trade, doesn't have the ultimate to finish off the kill though. Endril is playing a very dangerous game.
That was an interesting hook. Let's just say that.
Well, the sweeper doesn't update quite in real time, so it looked like Endril was just standing still there. But of course, he had already moved on our screens. Simplistic did not get that notification from the sweeper quick enough and just went ahead for the hook.
Is level 7. But he is gonna get engaged upon by.
They're so low.
As we are going to have the reset come in.
Teleport from Frosty.
Is going to get another one. Can he get the third reset? Is not going to quite be able to get it, but is still going to get the triple kill with a very nice assist coming in from TSM Frosty as Rutledge once again is getting rolling up in this top lane.
Swoon Typhoon unfortunately had to use his body to start that fight, but he can be very happy about the lead that he just got his top laner. Rutledge on this Viego 3-0. 20 CS. Counting's hard. 20 CS lead, looking very, very fine. Frosty is just demolishing this mid lane, man. 40 CS lead, 2 plates, and he's gotten more. He's gotten ganked more times by the enemy jungler than Akram has managed to get into his lane. Simplistic gonna miss a hook down in the bot lane. Was trying to pull somebody under tower, but seems like Swimbaboon, now that he has those boots under his, or in his inventory rather, he's feeling quite confident on his dodges.
Yeah, and Simplistic really needs to continue to land these hooks in order for Crosspoint to really remain in this game because it's really the one point of power that they do have at the game as Hook is going to miss once again. They are going to get a lot onto Adriel. Guster's here. It's not going to be able to get in range, but they are going to be able to get flashes out of both bottom laners here. They should look to try to pressure this and look for another potential play, but we do have Swim Typhoon rotating down from the top, from the mid lane position, almost as a ghost available. Does have the ultimate available as well. Rift Herald is available for the Kindred to drop here as Rutledge. Rutledge, I think, just wins this.
Yeah, his ultimate is back up, so that'll be a quick kill onto the Viego. Now 4-0. I was about to comment on his items, but of course he doesn't have his own right now. His Swoon Typhoon is going in very deep.
Yes, and Guster Posey does still have the Lambs or Spite available. Has not dropped it yet. Oh no! Is going to fall without getting that crucial ability off, as it is going to be a double kill going over to Swoon Baboon. We do have Fanata rotating in.
Oh, they don't win that.
Fanata has picked up the Swain ultimate. Can he live long enough? Is going to be able to get the Death Nova off to get one kill going over to him, but Aidendro is going to pick up one kill while Frosty rotates down second and gets a kill on the backside of that fight. At the end of the fight, it was a 3-for-2, I do believe, in the favor of Mean City, who are currently sitting at just under a 4,000 gold advantage here at the 12-minute mark. Drake is spawning here. Drake is up on the map right now for either team to take right now, and with the first one going over to the side of Crosspoint. Crosspoint would certainly like to try to keep that going here, but we do have Swoon Typhoon is in position to try to contest this. Does have the level advantage because he is up to over 20 CS over Guster Posey. Is finally going to get that Lambs or Spite off. Is going to saw out the Dragon here. It is going to come down. Is going to end up going over to Guster Posey on the Kindred. They are going to get the kill on to the Hecarim on the backside. Pull is going to land onto Swoon Baboon. Swoon Baboon is gone, Baboon. As that stun is going to land, Fanata is going to miss the Esconda Duck on the backside of that fight here. But 2-for-0 plus Dragon going over to Crosspoint. Crosspoint still has a potential win con in this game with Dragon Soul here, which will spawn in roughly 12 or so minutes. Factoring in time to do the Dragon. That is a... Oh, is he going to be able to... Oh, the outplay coming in from Arrow. Very well done. Getting that fat 800 gold shutdown for himself.
Rutledge dropped the ultimate on the clone, and Arrow is sitting there laughing like a monkey after that one. Very nice shutdown coming out, and that will really help him in this top lane matchup where he's been disadvantaged from just the very beginning. Going back down to the Dragon play, though, I really didn't like that from Meme City. Not only did they not have the tempo to go for a play like that, losing Dragon right there is not even that bad, because before they went in and died all that bunch, they were sitting at like a 4,500 gold advantage, and if you can use that to pile up 4 Infernal or 4 Mountain Drakes, which is what you're looking at this game, that is so much stats. You can just 100% tip the scales. I do not mind sitting on those scaling dragons with the composition that they have, the fact that they have damage in every single roll. It did roll Infernal, so they're honestly not too unhappy about the fact that they can stack those.
Space check. Guster Posey, nice pink ward is going to buy them a little bit of space. That's just going to be a big old chunk of burst damage as Guster Posey is going to go on another kill. Does have that Gale Force completed, while Hecarim still does not have his Triforce or Divine Sunder completed. I mean, and as I do believe that is going to be the Divine Sunderer build, if I remember correctly. Oh, that hook was... tickled the legs of Cinder right there.
Oh my goodness, I'm not even sure if Frosty knew how much danger he was in, but just narrowly misses out on that one. As we see Frosty still in a fairly commanding position on this lane. The Silas has 50 CS, and if it wasn't for the 4 kills...
The ultimate, but Rutledge has TP'd in. Arrows should be falling here momentarily. As they do get the kill back on to Rutledge. Simplistic has rotated up from the mid lane. Ferdy is here as well as Guster Posey. They're trying to get the damage down onto Rutledge. Flash forward coming in from Guster is going to be able to get into range, but there is no control ward available. We do have the Sun ultimate kind of come in. It's going to allow them to get the escape here, but with a 3-man rotation up the top lane, mid lane turret should fall, but can they get top lane traded in response? Because we might also lose bot lane tower on the other side as well for Mean City.
Yeah, Meme City's probably going to have to push a second wave into the bot before they can take the entire tower. Currently, Swain Senna doesn't take those towers extremely fast, and it will be Crosspoint that get the first tower goal teleport in the mid lane as well, as they're looking at Frosty.
Yeah, they're trying to get onto Frosty, but there's no ultimate available onto Arrow, and that was a large chunk of damage onto Arrow, plus the ultimate. Oh, that's going to be very low. The walk-away Q is going to be enough damage. We do have Swing Typhoon rotating down, going in onto Simplistic. Simplistic should fall as well. Throws out the ultimate, just trying to get a little bit of damage. Flash forward coming in from front, securing the kill onto Adadrill. He's trying to get the return kill onto Swoon Baboon. Swoon Baboon has no mana. The E is going to buy him a little bit of space. Why did you pull him back? You just brought him right back into you, but here comes Swoon Typhoon. Swoon Typhoon does have the ultimate with the Death Nova Burst. That's just enough to secure the Drake kill down to the bottom.
Fanata does not have his eyes on the minions this game. All he sees is blood as he goes in for a 1v2. Narrowly pulls it off, but unfortunately a pesky jungler comes and ruins his fun. Gonna get shut down there, but his team will go ahead and use that space he created to drop Rift in the mid lane. And they're gonna trade even on towers. 2 for 2. And Crosspoint does not feel too bad right now. They don't feel as blatantly out of it as they did in game 1. Definitely feel like their power is a lot on this Lucian and, kind of hidden power, I guess, if you want to say. Agency is the word I like to use on the Blitzcrank. And how Simplistic is going to play here. He's had a really nice lane phase, but the Roam's top lane haven't been his most successful things. Now, coming around this dragon, 10 seconds on the spawn timer, it's going to be in both teams' eyes. Crosspoint want to get onto that soul point. Meme City want to stop the stacking and get those stats on their team. It looks like top side of the river will favor MCE. CPO will have the bottom side of the river. Gotta watch Blitzcrank. Will the hook connect onto a fantastic target? Swoon Baboon and Frosty both have flash. Need to have their fingers primed on the key. Waves, they're pretty even right now. Top lane's in MCE's favor, bot lane in Crosspoint currently.
With Swoon Typhoon, nice use of the ultimate. It's going to buy a little bit of space. Simplistic's going to eat a fair bit of damage. Ignite coming in just to buy a little bit of space. We do have the ultimate coming in. It's going to, the hook is going to land onto the backline, but so much damage coming out of this Viego. It just doesn't matter. We do have a 2 for 2 so far in this fight, as Arrow is all by himself, is going to fall. Guster Posey is not going to get anything out of that Lancer's fight. He's just going to fall himself at the end of the fight. At the end of the day, it is a 4 for 2 fight in the favor of Meme City Esports. They should be able to pick up the dragon, and that just may be one of the nails in the coffin for the side of Crosspoint in this game, because they no longer have that overriding threat of that dragon soul.
Absolutely not, and you can see the goal up your screen, 5,000 in the favor of MCE, and that's not really off the kills or towers so much as it is the CS leads. Top, jungle, and mid all are boasting incredible CS leads right now for Meme City, and that's a lot of their gold lead. So you can see 2 items on this Viego after a fantastic team fight there. Oh, Simplistic in that last fight did find the hook onto Frosty, but blowing the Cinder up just wasn't enough. There's damage coming from all sources. Guster wasn't able to get his team grouped up for a good ultimate. Just didn't go the way of Crosspoint. Now you gotta be wondering, how are they gonna find their way into this game? Kindred, we can do a quick stat check on 3 marks, so a little bit behind. Needing to get 1 more for that additional range that she really, really values. But we'll have to see how hard it is for her to get that. I mean, the game feels kind of hard to play. They have a lot of agency, and it's going to come down to individual plays and how Crosspoint set up the map. Make sure their split pushers are not under too much threat. You can see Kindred and Silas on the same side of the map, possibly wanting to pick off this Viego, but there's a lot of Meme City in the area.
That's a dead Wukong.
Yeah. Sure is. And now Meme City just gonna move into the enemy jungle. Adriel gonna throw out a W, not gonna connect. Simplistic gonna slow down. Hook just doesn't barely land, and I'm not even sure if he wants that. No Zonyas though for Swoon Baboon. Possible they oh my goodness. I thought that was a Meme City player blast coning for a second. I was very worried. But it was just Guster getting out as Swoombaboon gets
A lot of damage on the Swoombaboon is going to go into the ultimate. Does have a level advantage. They're trying to burst him out,
remember.
But the Senna ultimate is going to buy him just enough space. We do have Swoom Typhoon is going to get the ultimate engaged. Nice hook to keep his AD carry alive, but I don't think it's going to be enough to matter in this fight, as Simplistic should fall 30 falls as well on the backside of the fight. Just too much movement speed on this Hackerum here. Is in such a good spot. That extends the gold advantage to almost a full 7K.
Oh, Rutland has hook!
Yep, that is nice. Nice denial there. But the push out of the ultimate coming in from Swoom Typhoon means that it's just too little too late. Crosspoint putting a much better fight in this game, but I think there is just way too much firepower on the side of Meme City for them to contend with.
Absolutely. It was 2 drafts pumped full of damage. I mean, there is not a tank to be seen. Maybe you can count the Blitzcrank, but he is definitely trying to win the... Oh my goodness, that was a flash out of the Silas there. Not going to find the Abscond Abduct, however. And, just going to be able to walk that one out as Meme City start up the Baron here. Adriel going to keep Simplistic a little bit away from this pit. Guster's really far away. Baron's gonna drop. Can count Crosspoint find the team fight? Oh, don't go off Baron! It's so low! Oh my goodness, that was like a 2K Baron they just pulled off of. Okay.
They had their eyes on the fight a little bit too much there, in my opinion. I think they could have 100% finished that, get the reset off. I mean, they're in such a commanding position that, like, Lamb's Respite isn't up, and that's one of the biggest tools in the team fight tool chest for the side of Crosspoint, and with that available, honestly, that basically makes the team fighting impossible for them.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was onto the clone, and Arrow's definitely glad that he did not eat this damage. Syndra's feeling very good currently, like I said, loves the game when nobody builds magic resist. Currently a little bit of magic resist on both bot laners, but nowhere else to be seen, as there's, like we said, no tanks really in this game. Getting to second item completions for MC. It's a big power spike over their opposition, who are still struggling to put in components. Outside of Fanata, who does have the same 2 items. He had the Zonias. What's he doing? He has 2,000 gold. Is he waiting for something? Am I missing? Is he getting Lichbane and holding on to the stopwatch? Is that his plan?
Yeah.
He's waiting for 2150. Yep. Okay. So gonna go for the more damage route. Gonna rely on the stopwatch for a little bit longer. Simplistic needs to be very careful here. Eating a lot of damage. Ooh. Bait your breath.
Yeah, this Syndra is nothing to be trifled with. Highest level in the game. Doesn't have the most kills, but is a massive threat, as we're going to see the second Infernal going over to the side of Meme City, and Meme City should just walk up, do Baron, and the
quite
game.
Literally, though, like with 3 people showing bot, I really think that Meme City is playing this a little bit slower than they need to. Given the fact they don't really need to push their advantage, I don't think they're under a large scaling pressure. But I just think it's a little bit more clean play. They see 3 bot, they can just go straight for the Baron. Frosty wants to go ahead and pick up a blue buff. Rutledge is looking at the enemy blue buff, but that is not theirs this time. Plistic will go ahead and grab that for his own team, as Endral's going to clear out a couple wards. Looks like we're back to playing around this Baron pit, and this time I would not mind Meme City going for the fight. They have all of their cooldowns available this time.
Oh, that's the dead Blitzcrank.
Bye-bye. Oh,
don't think you
Unleash
need
power
there, Frosty, but they get the kill at the end of the day. I do want to give you guys a quick update. Adadrill sitting on 100 stacks on the Sunny here at 25 minutes. It's going to be pretty sure it's going to be almost a 10,000 gold advantage as this Baron falls here for the side of Meme City Rush here. Just short. It's 300 gold short. Resets are going to come in. Everyone on the side of Meme City is already at 2 items. They all have about 1,000 gold in their inventory, and I think it's just a matter of when rather than if at this point.
And you could see Meme City, after taking that Baron, they actually just blitzed straight bot lane to go ahead and take Scuttlecrab because it was marked. Guster is still sitting on 3 marks, has not gotten the increased range. Gale Force and some components is not good enough at this stage in the game for the Kindred. Feeling definitely a lack of power and definitely a lack of agency, as she just has to step so far forward. Rutledge gonna go ahead and grab that movement speed from the E. I don't know. I'm not even gonna pretend to know the name of his abilities at this point in time. I would be impressed if you did.
Let's just read them out for Twitch chat. So Q is obviously Blade of the Ruin King. W
Wait, is it actually?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Spectral Maw is the W, as we do have an engage onto Rutledge. Is just going to flash, use the ultimate. Should be able to get out here. Don't think Arrow's going to have anywhere near enough damage. And then his E is the Harrowed Path.
Okay. Fantastic. Rutledge gonna turn that back a little bit, and he does so much damage. Does have the Gore Drinker, so he's gonna get a decent heal off here.
Arrow, I am sorry that it is not your clone. That is your real body. As that is going to be the kill going over once again, as turrets are falling in the bottom and the mid lane. This top lane is the last remaining our tower on the side of Crosspoint, as we are going to see the kill from Silas onto the Cinder. I think Cinder definitely playing a little bit too much with her food there. Silas does still do a lot of damage, even if you are almost Flame Horizoning him.
Absolutely. I think the Lich Bane definitely came as a surprise there too. That burst once Silas got on top with the Kingslayer was immense, and right now they're just kind of trying to spread their Baron over all 3 lanes. They're not doing it as cleanly as possible.
Oh, there is a TP behind from Arrow, but Arrow does not quite have Cyclone. Cyclone is not up yet. They are going to get a very massive engage from Fanata, using the ultimate coming in. Guster posing with the Lambs Spider is going to buy a fair bit of time. They're trying to get the damage down onto the Viego. They are going to be able to get 1 kill, but the Death Note is going to get 2 kills on the end of the fight. Fanata is still alive, trying to get the damage out when you have TP coming in from TSM Frosty. TSM Frosty pretty much has a triple kill in his eyes at this point. There's 1, 2. Are we going to get a third? Not quite. Blitzcrank is able to escape to the tower, but that should be the end of the game. There's no wave clear left. It is only simplistic on this Blitzcrank. What can this Blitzcrank do in a scenario of 1v3?
10 seconds on Guster, 10 seconds on Arrow, though. It looks like Meme City are going to play for the double inhibitor and back off for their 3rd Infernal Drake rather than pushing their luck. Swain, Syndra don't take towers insanely fast, and it looks like CPU will live for a slightly longer, as I really expect Meme City to go ahead and take their Infernal Drake just to say they have it, and really they don't need to wait on another Baron. They can use the supers pushing through the top and mid lane, go ahead, pressure bot for that triple inhibitor threat, and if by that point you still haven't somehow managed to get a fight to win the game, Baron should be up for the sealed and secure bonus. As we do see, Crosspoint are actually first to this dragon. If they realize how much Meme City is slacking, they might go for it, but they're approaching very cautiously as they have no information where Meme City is. They get started up, though.
They're trying to burst it down to about 800. They are
Meme City want the fight.
Arrow is getting a fair bit of disengage off on the front side. Fanata going in with the Swain ultimate. There's just way too much damage. It was 1 kill, 2 kills, 3 kills. They're dropping like flies for the side of Crosspoint. Guster and Ferdy trying to get away. They're not going to be able to do so. Guster Posey just accepts his fate, just stands there and be like, "Take me, just take me to the great beyond." As Guster Posey, they're walking in the base. This should be the end of the game. 1 Nexus tower's already fallen. They've got so many supers in the base. Ferdy's trying to dodge, cannot dodge.
No.
TSM Frosty is going to should secure the kill, but the smite still coming in from Swoon Typhoon as Meme City Esports Rush secures the victory here at 30 minutes in a dominant 2-0 sweep over Crosspoint Origin.
Absolutely, and Crosspoint just felt like they wanted to brawl and scrap with Meme City in the early game, both games, but they just weren't able to hang on. Felt like they individually just kind of lost out on skirmishes, and then the gold lead just it wasn't even kills or towers or objectives. It was just raw gold, and the fact that Meme City's laners and junglers were just getting more farm into their pockets. They had more stats for the skirmishes, and they were eventually just once they got a lead, once they got like a 3k gold lead, Meme City never let go of it.
Yeah, it just I give a lot of credit to Crosspoint. They kept this game a lot closer to a lot of early game scrapping. Simplistic had such a good early game on this Blitzkrieg in terms of generating an advantage for them down in the bottom lane. But yeah, at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough here. There was massive CS discrepancies in the whole top side of the map. I'm pretty sure all those lanes were up at least 30 CS, if not more. And when that is happening, there just is not a lot you can do. And like looking at the damage charts coming in here real quick, everyone on the side of Meme City Esports Rush did at least 12,000 damage.
Yeah. Support Sun at the bottom of that list, unfortunately, and even then, quite a large amount of damage. I really Crosspoints. They didn't feel like they were completely out of it, especially game two. They hung on for a lot longer. I've got to wonder how Guster's feeling. Maybe he's just not finding what his picks are right now because we saw early pick junglers both games. Game one, it was the Udyr. Game two, it was the B1 Kindred, and he didn't really he didn't really fumble and fall apart and lose the game, but he didn't really find his stride either time. Wonder if he's still experimenting, trying to figure out, maybe working with synergies. It's still very, very early. I could see Crosspoint turning it on still, but for now, Meme City slapped them up and down 2-0.
Yeah, it was just a very clear difference in the performance between these two teams here this evening. And before we sign off, I have to do the traditional question of the night here for my color caster as who is your MVP of the series here for, I'm assuming, Meme City Esports?
I mean, game two, game per game or for whole series?
Whole series.
Whole series? Oh, whole series. I wanna. It's between the solo laners. I feel like I'm leaning Frosty because I feel like he got a lot more of the, or a lot less of the glory. Game one, he was on the Seraphine. He had more kill participation than his jungler. He was teleporting down to the bot lanes to make those skirmishes happen. Game two, even though his scoreline didn't show it early game, he was dominating the mid lane with massive CS leads. I think Frosty's going to be my MVP, but I think you can give it to a lot of people, especially Rutledge deserves an honorable mention.
Yeah, I cannot disagree. Either solo laner is perfectly justifiable for our MVP here in week number 2 here of our Platinum League. I want to say thank you once again to Django for filling in for our separated caster right now. Axeman off dealing with, real life stuff. But, Django's awesome. It was a pleasure casting with you. I want to thank you all for tuning in here tonight. I am Primus. He is Django. We will see you guys back here at Zero Gravity Gaming on a Thursday for our Gold League. And, of course, next week for our IBS and Platinum once again. Have a great night, everyone. Please check us out if you want to later this week. Bye-bye.
Bye.